Hi guys, today we are going to be making an entire tune from white noise. That's right, we're going to be making every single sound from scratch using only white noise and some very clever plugins. If that sounds interesting to you, let's get stuck in. Okay, so in order to generate the white noise, what we're going to do is we're going to use the test oscillator. You can find that under utility. By default, it'll be set to the sine wave. I've turned it off because that's quite annoying. It gets quite annoying quite quickly. Okay, so you've got various generators, white noise, pink noise, square wave, needle pulse. Needle pulse is quite interesting actually. Anyway, so these are quite fun things to play around with. We're obviously going to be using white noise. For this, the frequency doesn't matter because the point of white noise is that it occupies the full frequency spectrum from 20 hertz up to 20 kilohertz. So the only thing that we need to do is to set the level that we want the white noise to output to. By default it's minus 12 dB, which I think is a good place to set it anyway, so I wouldn't even bother changing anything. What we need to do is we need to record this somehow. So what we'll do quickly, new audio, if we come back to our test oscillator, let's go to bus 1, we'll send that 0 dB. If we come on to our audio channel, if we set the input now to bus 1, and we'll arm this for recording. All we need to do is turn this on and hit record. And that's enough of that. So we have our white noise. So what is white noise? Let's ask Wikipedia. White noise. In signal processing, white noise is a random signal having equal intensity at different frequencies, giving it a constant power spectral density. Okay. For an audio signal, the relevant range is the band of audible sound frequencies between 20 and 20,000 hertz. Such a signal is heard by the human ear as a hissing sound resembling the H sound in a sustained aspiration. Something like that, I guess. On the other hand, the sh sound in ash is a coloured noise because it has a formant structure. In music and acoustics, the term white noise may be used for any signal that has a similar hissing sound. The term white noise is sometimes used in the context of phylogenetically based statistical methods to refer to a lack of phylogenetic pattern in comparative data. It is sometimes used analogously in non-technical contexts to mean random talk without meaningful contents. What should we make first? A kick, a snare, a hi-hat's very easy. Actually, let's make a hi-hat. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a very tiny chunk of this white noise, put a fade out on this, shorten our loop up. I mean, already that kind of sounds like a hi-hat, doesn't it? We don't really have to do an awful lot. What we could do here is we could put a low cut. What we could do as well is we could try and sort of shape this a little bit so it's got a little bit more character. I'm just randomly going to put in some, I mean, we could do the opposite. We could put some, try and make these more kind of metallic-y sounds. If we put another EQ, we could do that a bit more. I don't know, we're just going to randomly stick some And let's do some more where we're taking frequencies away. Kind of sounds a bit more like a really high snare to my ears. Maybe something like that. Yeah, I'm not really thinking too much about what I'm doing. I mean, that sounds like a hi-hat. So what we could do maybe is come back here and make more of an open hat sound. What we could do is we could put some reverb. Let's use Realm. I like Realm. Okay, something like that. What we'll do after is we'll try and tame the reverb tail a little bit. So you can hear how we shorten it up. It sounds less reverby. Okay, let's put a frequency shifter on here. They're not the most interesting of sounds, but yeah, we've got a hi-hat, a closed hi-hat and an open hat. Let's come back here. Let's make a different sound. Let's make a kick. What we want to do is we want to boost a shit ton of the low end. Okay. Somewhere between, I reckon, between 40 and sort of 100 hertz. Now that's a bit of a boost. It's not enough. Here we go. We're starting to get somewhere. There we go. Let's pull this down a bit so we're not clipping. Let's do something like that for now. Okay, that's phase one done. We really need a kind of an initial transient, a real sharp, quick, loud transient. So we're going to come back here. What I want to do is I want to take a very, whoops, let's put my marquee tool back on. I want to take a very short snippet and we're going to chuck that on the front. Oh, why is that stereo? Anyway, so now we've got a very short transient at the start of this. Let's just roll with it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to compress this so it's not clipping. So I'm going to bounce that in place. Let's come back up here. Okay, so this can be the nice tail bit on it. Okay, so let's sort of combine these two. Come in here, let's find a nice zero crossing to make our cut. If you're quite precise with these cuts at the zero crossing, you won't get any unpleasant clips and clicks. It's quite a good practice. Good to learn your keyboard shortcuts as well so that you can zoom in and out quite quickly. And now if we match these two up, that should be almost seamless. Okay, let's do some transient shaping. Okay, I quite like that. Let's what we'll do, we'll go through several iterations of this, bouncing in place and and then processing it some more. What we could do as well, maybe we'll take the little transient off the hi-hat. Let's add some distortion. Diablo Light, which is a free plugin from Cymatics at the moment. Bounce that in place. It's a bit honky, but we could try taking, say, the end of this, pop that on there, something like that. Fade. Right, let's compress it some more. Okay, we're going to bounce that. That looks a bit weird. Right, so I don't like this. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do something a bit radical. Let's just start from here. Let's start from here. Let's sort of start again. Let's try some more distortion. I may use this for a bass actually. I quite like that as a bass. So convert to a sampler track. White noisy, round sub, because it's quite a round sound we've got there. All right, that will do. Okay, let's go to here. Let's go edit. Right, let's just go all the way up and all the way down. That's quite a cool bass sound. Okay, that's cool. We can come back to that. Right, now let's get back to our kick. Okay, so at this point in the video, I think I need to point out that although I wanted to try and document as much as possible of me turning white noise into various sounds, I spent an inordinate amount of time making the kick. In fact, I made several kicks. And to spare you guys from listening to 10,000 kick sounds in a row with me endlessly tweaking EQ curves and distortion plugins and all the rest of it, I thought we'd just jump ahead to where I'm actually using the kick to make some music. So if you are interested in seeing more of the painstaking detail, I'm going to have a longer form content video on my Patreon. If you want to jump over there and subscribe. Otherwise, we'll just get back to it and we'll start making some music with these sounds. I should also point out, by this time in the recording, I'd completely forgotten to address the camera and to just talk about what I was actually doing. So I'm going to be doing some voiceovers. Wait, we doing more kicks? I thought we said no more kicks.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Thought so. Thought so. Thought so. Kicks. Quick bit of arrangement and then onto the bass. Let's chuck in some notes and see if we can't get some kind of riff happening. It's always good to offset your bass and your kicks. That way they're not competing in the frequencies as much when they're not overlapping. Funky. know you're onto a pretty strong idea if you've got just 4 elements and it's got a groove to it. So here I'm just pitching up one of the many kick sounds I made. Just trying different pitches to see if anything sounds decent as a snare. Obviously with some further processing, shorten that up a bit. We'll also reverse it to give us an interesting reverse sound. It's always useful to have lots of different sort of reverse sounds to help lead you into different sections or out of different sections. So here I've just grabbed a piece of the white noise again, which I'm going to overlay on the snare. And we're just stretching out this reverse snare sound. Bit of reverb, supermassive obviously. Bit of bit crusher on the snare. And some Valhalla Space Modulator. This is a free plugin and it's one of my favorite free plugins. Really, really useful. I'm intending doing a video about sort of some really useful, good quality free plugins, and I think that's probably my top pick. So yeah, if I get round to making that video, keep your eyes peeled. Here we're just taking the white noise and we're putting some tremolo on it to give it an offbeat kind of rhythmical thing, high passing it. And yeah, time for a little bit of arrangement, make a little bit of an intro, stretch out that reverse snare even more for a build up. And on to something melodic. So here I've just taken a very tiny snippet from that stretched out reversed snare sound, which started as a kick sound, and before that was white noise. Doing some EQing, putting in some resonant peaks to give it a bit more of a tonal quality for more melodic harmonic content. We want some resonances, which is why I'm using this plugin, Resonator, which creates the resonances for us. Now the useful thing, the first dial on the top row on the left hand side sets the root note, and then every subsequent dial to the right of that gives us a pitch based on that root note. So if we change the first one, we can change all the other corresponding dials and pitches accordingly. Very useful plugin for making non sort of tonal sounds a bit more tonal. A bit of OTT. Got to be ubiquitous in the sound design process. Some more reverb. Realm is a lovely reverb. And now we're just going to pitch these around. It sounds a bit like a gong in my opinion. And we're just going to pitch these around till we find some nice pitches. I don't really know what key I'm working in or what scale I'm working in. For some reason I've never been very good at I can't quite get my head around music theory. I've tried many times, and I just go by ear. So if you don't have any music theory training, don't worry about it too much. Trust your own ears and trust that when something sounds good to you, you know, it is good. If it sounds good to you, it is good. Don't worry about the theory too much. Often when we find a problem, when something isn't working melodically, then it's useful to have some theory knowledge to know why it's not working and how to correct it. But if something sounds good to you, it doesn't really matter what the theory is. Let someone else worry about that. Just make what sounds good to you. And here we're just trying out different sort of rhythmical ideas. And we'll make a slight variation. And that's the pattern complete. I think we're in some kind of A sharp minor scale, but I'm probably wrong with that, and if someone knows I'm wrong, perhaps you can point that out to me. Okay, so here we are. We're going to work on a build-up sound using that tremoloed white noise. Which is quite cool. It wasn't quite long enough for my liking, so I've just copied that over. And we'll put it in place. Help build the excitement before the drop.
Seriously, stop playing with your kick.
I was just going to say. I have a kick habit. Kick habit. Okay, we're just going to work on this melody idea. What I'm doing here is I'm pitching this up with a view to put in Cable Guy's halftime on it. There we go. And then if you use the sort of blend options, either the mix or the filter section, you can get some quite interesting textures and some slightly unexpected melodic ideas. It's always worth attempting to pitch your melodic content up and down octaves just to see if anything interesting happens.
Leave your kick alone.
Okay, the wheel changes, fate, destiny, a lucky break, cycling up through karmic lessons, the chaos of creation, a turning point, serendipity. Get ready, sweet soul, for the wheel is about to gift you divine blessings. Synchronicity is afoot, so look for wonderful new opportunities to propel your life ahead. Be prepared for fortuitous meetings or a fork in the path that will change everything for the better. Sounds good? If you're open to spotting opportunity, it's yours for the taking. just follow the breadcrumbs of serendipity and fate toward your happy ending. What am I doing? Right, I'm working on a kick build up. More kicks. Remember that the wheel is always spinning and that things are never the same as they were before. Learn to enjoy this constant regeneration and know that with every spin we have the chance to cycle upward towards our own expansion and enlightenment. Trying to control the outcome of the Wheel of Fortune would prove to be impossible, so don't. Okay, we're just filtering these kicks in. Build the excitement even more. Grab your lucky dice and see the spinning of the wheel for what it really is. All the beauty of a lifetime of experiences waiting to spring forth and be lived. Okay, and now that reverse snare sound, we're going to automate the frequency shifter to give us an interesting riser, I should say. And I'm sticking halftime on there again, just for some added depth. And now we're just frequency shifting the snare a bit to get that to sit slightly better in the mix. Okay, so here we're working on the bass. I was going to put some distortion using Rift, and I found one of the spacier presets, which I thought sounded cool. Here I am bobbing away and preening on camera, sorting my rough mop out. Yeah, so I intended to put some distortion on there, but I quite like this sort of spacey preset in Rift. So what I decided to do was move that across to an auxiliary channel on a bus, and then put another instance of Rift on there with just some distortion, and then sending it to that other version of Rift. We're going to EQ out some of this low frequency content. We don't want to have too much of a build up in that area. And we'll boost the mids and cut some of the highs as well. And now we're doing some sample delay to smear out the this bass sound. Sometimes this can work really well to give you some nice separation. Sometimes it smears your transients a bit too much and it doesn't always work. It can be a nice technique, worth trying out sometimes. And we're going to throw some OTT on there, of course, just to bring out some of that detail. A bit more EQ. Oh, the finger's out. Must be good. Heads bobbing. Yeah, there we go. Space modulator again. Really, really good plugin. I should do a video on this. Leave your kick alone.
So there we go, guys. That is the finished tune that I made using entirely white noise. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I think it came out sounding pretty good. With a bit more time and more processing, we could get it sounding even better, I'm pretty certain. But you know, I think for the purposes of this video, I think that's good enough. As a bonus, I've put together a sample pack from pretty much all of the sounds that I made using white noise that I used in the final track. Not the 10 million different kick sounds I made. I've narrowed that down to just one. If you would like to get your hands on that sample pack, I've made it available for a free download. There are links below in the description. And if you would like to check out the longer form content of this video, that will be available to Patreon subscribers in the lowest tier, which is only currently $3 a month. If you want to go over there and help support the channel, I'd very much appreciate it. If you don't want to do that, if you could drop a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, that would also help out massively. Otherwise, guys, please take care of yourselves and I'll see you real soon. Peace out.